In this video, we're going to be talking about where the function is increasing and or decreasing. So, where is f of x increasing and decreasing in this given graph? Let's go back to its slope. Over here, the slope is increasing at -1. Slope is horizontal, so it has to be 0. Then it's decreasing. Slope is 0 again at 2, and then slope is increasing. So from -infinity to -1, but not including -1 because it has a slope of 0, so it's nor increasing or decreasing. But in this interval, slope will be increasing, or slope is increasing. From -1 to 2, again, not including the 2, slope will be decreasing. And from 2 to infinity, slope is going to be increasing. So let's look at f of x is equal to x squared. If we were to do this on a sine diagram, where is the slope going to be 0? Slope is going to be 0 on this horizontal tangent line. So that happens to be at 0. What happens to the left side of the 0? At left side of the 0, slope is decreasing, and then it's increasing. So we write it with negative sign and positive sign. Alright, what about if f of x is equal to -x squared? Again, when x is equal to 0, that's where the horizontal tangent line is. So that's going to be 0. But on the left side, this time it's going to be increasing and then decreasing. So the signs are going to be positive and negative. Right. What about if you have something like x to the cube? X to the cube again has a horizontal, right, slope or horizontal gradient, same thing, at 0. On the left side of the 0, the slopes are increasing and then it's increasing again. So it's going to be both positive. Right. Next, let's look at what happens when f of x is equal to x to the cube minus 3x plus 4. Well, we can find this algebraically, or we can just use the given graph. In this case, at -1, it's going to have a slope of 0. Over 1, it's going to have a slope of 0. So at -1 and 1, it's going to have a slope of 0. On the left side of -1, the slopes are increasing, then it's decreasing, and it's increasing again. Find the intervals where the following functions are increasing or decreasing. F of x is equal to -x to the cube plus 3x squared plus 5. This time the graphs are not given, so we have to figure it out on our own. We know that slope at any given point is just taking the derivative of a function, so we have -3x squared plus 6x. Right. If I set this equal to 0, that means we're looking at the horizontal tangent line. So what do they have in common? 3x. So we have 3x. Let's pull out the -3x. So we're left with x, and be careful, the sign here must be -2. So if I multiply or distribute them back, I get -3x squared plus 6x, so I'm good, equals to 0. That means Either this has to be 0 or that has to be 0. So x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 2. So that means when x is equal to 0, when x is equal to 2, the slope is 0. So once we figure out where the zeros are going to be located at, we pick out a number that's in this interval. So anything that's left side of the 0, so for example, pick -1. When x is -1, what is my slope? So you're going to plug it back onto here, right? Plug it back into f prime of x. If you plug it into the original function, you're going to get a y value. That's not what we're interested in. We are interested in the sign of a slope. So we need to plug it into a slope equation. So if I plug it in -1, we get -1 squared, that's positive. Positive times -3 will be -3. -3 plus 6 times negative, that's going to be a negative sign. Right? We don't have to know exactly what value, but we're interested in finding the sign. What about if I pick 1 in between 0 and 2? If I pick 1, the first thing will be -3 plus 6, that's positive. Over here, let's pick something like 3. So then 3 squared is 9. 9 times -3 is -27 plus 18. That's going to be a negative sign. Right? So just remember, after we plot the zeros and found out where the horizontal tangents are, we're plugging in or testing the values that are in the appropriate interval at f prime of x. Not f of x, but f prime of x. So we can say slope is decreasing from -infinity to 0. Slope is decreasing again from 2 to positive infinity, but slope is increasing between 0 to 2. All right, let's move on to next question. F of x is equal to 3x to the 4th minus 8x cubed plus 2. All right, so first let's take the derivative of that function. So we have f prime of x is equal to 12x to the cube minus 24x squared. All right, again, by setting it equal to 0, we're finding the horizontal tangent. This can be factorable. What do they have in common? They have 12x squared in common, so we are left with x minus 2 equals to 0. So x has to be either 0 or x has to be 2 in order to make the equation 0. All right, so we have 0 and 2, and we're testing the value at f prime of x. So if we pick a value something like -1, right, what happens? If I plug it back in here, I have -1 squared, that's positive, right? -1 minus 2, that's negative. So positive times negative will give you negative. If I have something like 1, this has to be positive times negative again, so this has to be negative. If I have something like 3, this would be positive times positive, this would be positive. So slope is decreasing from -infinity all the way up to 2, and then it's increasing after 2. All right.